What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Can I turn this light down?
Yeah, turn it down.
I gotta find the...
Who gives a damn? It's our show.
Yeah, but... That's better. You can still
Yeah,
see
fine.
me, but
Yeah.
if I turn the light on back there, it's not even plugged in because I just live by my Christmas tree now because I hate overhead lighting.
Yeah, naturally.
But now if I turn it on that way, it'll look even worse than when I was sitting up against the window and it was
Ah.
shining behind my head. But, you know. Listen, and I said one of us was going to be upset and one of us was not, but I have to say I'm not as upset as I thought I was going to be.
What a fucking race. My God, what a race. What a season.
Season really ended with a banger of a race.
God, we've been calling it for how long? That this whole season was going to go down to Abu Dhabi, and that Abu Dhabi was going to be a banger of a race. And it was a banger of a race. It was so good.
Literally, I posted at one point, I said it's only lap 10 because we had a whole race within 10 laps at the beginning.
My God, it was so much fun to watch. It was so stressful to watch at first. It was nuts.
But worth it.
But worth it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is episode number
89.
89. Welcome to episode number 89 of the F1 Underground podcast. If you are some of our video, or if you're some of our audio listeners, that brief moment of silence was me kind of having convulsions in my chair for McLaren.
And if you also are an audio listener, Owen is decked out on McLaren today.
Yes, I have my McLaren hat on. I have my McLaren sweatshirt on. I would have my lovely McLaren jersey on, but then I would be getting like way too hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but welcome. We have a great episode for you. So much fun, just so much shit to talk about. But as always, we will kick it off with our meme of the week. I don't have one this week. Casey does, however. Although I can kind of piggyback off of yours and agree with it. It's pretty good. We'll then do a points and pit stops. That will be Casey is quizzing me. I have a new beer as well. I'm not cheating the system this time around and having a Gatorade.
You had a Gatorade last week.
Yeah, I have a Gatorade last week. And then we will jump into our insane Abu Dhabi season-ending recap. We will do a full episode on the 2024 season as a whole. We want to give that just a special episode just because we have our beginning of the season episode where we predicted a whole bunch of stuff and all of those predictions are wrong.
I need to go back and listen.
Yeah, we got to go back, listen, see what we got wrong, see what we can talk about. So we'll do a whole season recap eventually. This will be just kind of covering Abu Dhabi. This hair sticking out. It's really annoying me.
Fix it.
Well, I have my headphones and then my hat on. It's
that piece of hair that you like to...
Yeah, I sit there and play with it. It's fine.
The best is the video from the lap 1 reactions. You like freak out really.
I do it.
And then you sit back and you're immediately like, because you're stressed.
I'm stressed. But yes, we will jump right into it. But before we do that, please make sure you go follow us on Instagram and Threads at Underground F1. Also on my personal Threads at Underground F1_Owen. And then please go make sure to follow us over on Twitter /X at Underground_F1. Go hang out with us there, especially on the F1 Threads community. Beautiful place, great place.
And it gets a little crazy during the off season, but
it gets a little crazy during the off season because we're all like suffering for content. But we'll jump right into it. Casey's meme of the week, partially also my meme of the week, just because it's a fucking awesome picture.
Well, and the best part is it's not even a meme, but I had to post this picture because it's perfect. I've never seen this man with this much emotion ever. So this picture is Andrea Stella from post-race celebrations. Obviously, McLaren won. Zach Brown did go up on the podium and get the trophy when Lando won the race. But then they did show a shot of Andrea Stella, and he was cheering, and I've again never seen him cheer with that much emotion.
Yeah.
I posted a few series of photos from the garage. It's a whole other side of him. Like, he let down the walls. He is letting loose.
Well, he finally can.
Yeah, he finally can. His work is done. Honestly, FII should give out most team principal of the year or something, because I think I would give it to him or Ao Komatsu of Haas, because they both deserve it. But this specific photo is Andrea Stella with the huge bottle of champagne over his head, and you can just tell he is screaming. The look on his face.
He's so loving it.
But yeah, that's like I said, I posted a few of them because it's not getting talked about enough with his celebration. I've seen people talking about Oscar, and people were like, Oscar was full on smiling. I've never also seen him like that. But Andrea Stella, the MVP of the season, I have to say. Yeah, I'm here.
It's so good.
Such a good photo.
Yeah, that man is just letting it out right there. Just 2 years, honestly, worth of just frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And the build up of just oh my God, we could do this. He did
it. But he made the comeback. But yeah, that was meme of the week.
Meme of the week. Turning into our news, which I conveniently forgot to lay out in our episode outline.
That's why I was when you said you were deleting the stories, it didn't matter. I was like, where? Because I was so confused at first. Yes, weekly news. As always, brought to you by IPF1Store.com. Get 10% off on your purchase with the coupon code Underground10. The only vow is leading you. Perfect time, Christmas time. Some beautiful pics. I saw Owen's list. He does have a certain print on his Christmas list.
I do. It was approved by the wife. She thinks it's beautiful. Yes.
But yeah, so we say it all the time. His stuff is so cool, so amazing. There's even some Formula E stuff now on there, but definitely go check it out. Like we said, IPF1Store.com and Underground 10, the only vows leading you for 10% off your purchase. The direct link to the store can be found in the link in our bio.
Yes.
There's not a lot of weekly news. This first piece of news just broke today, but we kind of already had a feeling this was happening. But today it was announced by Ferrari that they will be they reached an agreement with Cadillac or General Motors, or their press release did say Andretti in the press release from Ferrari that General Motors will be using Ferrari's power units for the 2026 season. So there'll be stepping foots that'll make it'll be Ferrari, Haas, and then now General Motors in 2026 using their engine. So good news. Like I said, that's one was it's kind of what's it called? Funny that General Motors is using Ferrari's engine. People were like, well, probably just so they can start making their own. If they do want to make their own at some point, they need one to go with. And why not use the most historical team in the sport? So
it's definitely Cadillac and GM will eventually make their own engine, I'm sure. Just to get the team off the ground and running. Yeah.
And I'm sure General Motors, that the second American team will want to be full American for everything. They will want an American power unit. So it'll come. But yeah, they're going to start off the 2026 season at least with the Ferrari power unit. That next news, this was announced. Sorry, that was a very awkward pause. This was announced. Well, I was waiting for it to load the Dutch GP article.
Oh, yes.
This was announced that the Dutch GP or Zandvoort will be the final year of that will also be 2026. So, it basically says they're going to be off the calendar. There is talks. Obviously, there's so many places that want to have races. People saying do a rotating calendar schedule anyway with certain tracks, but this track, Owen, if you listened a few episodes ago, before Zandvoort, Owen did a nice history with Owen on this track and the history of it and how it's kind of had a boom because of Max, especially because that is his hometown race.
Right.
But yeah, so that was another piece of weekly news. It's literally taking forever to open, but And then second piece of news, Abby Pulling again clinches the F1 Academy title. I don't think anyone doubted she wasn't going to actually walk away with the trophy. I mean, F1 Academy Instagram account didn't even delete the championship graphic from the first time. So I think they also knew that she was going to walk away with it.
Yeah, it's the fact that, like, she did clinch it, but it's like they had the extra race that got canceled in Qatar and pushed to Abu Dhabi. So it's like, sure, she didn't clinch it, but yeah.
I think she didn't clinch it because there was the second pole.
Right.
They re-qualified, and that's why people are like, why are they re-qualifying? Like Dorian Pinn also still, but so then Abby Pulling ended up walking with like 3 poles from their qualifying. So,
nice.
Yeah, I mean I didn't watch some of the races live because they were so much earlier and it was already early times for us this past weekend. So, but I mean, we had some different winners, some different people on the podium. El Kabasi was on the podium one time. Maya Woog for Ferrari won a race, the last race. So there was some different winners up there. You don't have this listed. I will say this: F2, Gabriele Bortoleto did walk away with the championship. He is back-to-back, won F3 last year, won F2 this year.
Yep.
He's in good company. Also, let me find the graphic. With past winners like that, but yes, great. It was also nice seeing the photos of Alonso celebrating with him after the race. But he did kind of know, I think it was pretty much solid when the race started because Isaac Hadjar had a stall and was kind of out of the race running. So from the beginning, but yeah, it was overtake of the month.
Oh, live voting for overtake of the month?
They're all from Qatar and Abu Dhabi, obviously.
Yeah, naturally.
K-Mag's up for 2.
Oh, K-Mag.
K-Mag twice, Charles, Oscar, Lewis. Oh, Charles is
What's Oscar's overtake?
Yuki in Abu Dhabi. Lewis is George in Abu Dhabi, which that was a nice overtake at the end. And then Charles is Lawson, Bodas, and Perez in Abu Dhabi. So at the beginning, maybe.
I guarantee you that
Charles
Lewis will be the winner there.
Oh no, I think Charles will. I think Charles will. But I'll go back and vote, and I can tell you. Oh yeah, okay. So Gabriele Bortoleto won F2, obviously in his first year in F2. Right. This is the company he is in, who of other drivers in F1 now that also won F2 championships in their first season. George in 2018, Oscar in 2021, Charles in 2017. Good company. All right.
That's a fucking hell of a group.
Yeah, and they are going to be on the grid together next year. So, yeah, that was a good one. Hold on, wait. Now I want to go. Hit link in the bio. I should have known.
Link in the bio.
Overtake of the month. I did because normally, obviously, they post the overtake of the month at the end of the month, but they don't need to because
season's over.
Season's over. But yeah, hold on. It's making me log in. I just want to vote, people.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Lewis wins it or is winning it, but I mean, I can see the Charles route because he obviously climbed so many places in Abu Dhabi, but yeah, I could see it being Lewis just because that's his last.
It was a teammate on teammate.
Yeah, teammate on teammate, and it's his last overtake for Mercedes. Yeah.
Okay, I just voted for Charles. Well, Charles has 57% and Lewis has 25%.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Everyone else is 5, 8, and 6.
Wow. Okay. All right. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Charles fans come out like K-pop fans when they're voting for their faves to win an award. Like they come out like, let's go. But yeah, that was weekly news, and a little bit of obviously
overtake of the month.
Overtake of the month because it just happened as I was looking for that post. But yes, that was weekly news. Pints and pit stops.
Pints and pit stops. Let's do this part first. If you're new here, Pints and Pit Stops is our weekly trivia game that we play with each other. It typically follows any races that happened the weekend before. And Casey either quiz me or I will quiz Casey, or if we have a guest, we quiz a guest just on what happened in the race. The pit stop portion of it is you have to answer 5 questions as quickly as possible. If you get a question wrong, you gain a second in time. If you get a question right, you subtract a second in time, overall improving your time. The pints portion of this is I really enjoy beer. I enjoy trying and tasting new beer. So I aim to have a new beer every time we do this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. This time it does work. I have a new beer. I bought this from the local giant around me.
Really?
It is called Wrench. It is by Industrial Arts, a brewing company. They are based out of, let's see if I can find this real fast, Beacon, New York. So it's New York beer. It is a hazy India Pale Ale. It is described as lush and zesty.
Ooh.
It's 7.1% alcohol per volume. So it's a little bit heavier. And this is their can. It's really cool. There was the other, I guess, like grouping of beers with this too. So there was Wrench, Torque Wrench, and Monkey Wrench was I believe
all
the name,
by the same,
all by the same brands or the same brewing company. All the cans look the same. There was like different colors. But it looked like it was like different levels of alcohol. So Wrench was the middle one. I believe Monkey Wrench was a little bit less. I think it was like a 4 or something. And then there was Torque Wrench. I think that was like the upper one, and that was like a 9% beer.
Oh, jeez.
But yes, we will try it. We will take a sip, listen for the crack.
Where's your? It was kind of okay.
Yeah. But
wasn't the best one.
No, not the best one. Cheers.
Cheers. I got my Stanley.
That is very good. I don't really taste the zesty part of it. I don't know what that means, but it's a full beer. Like it tastes like it's got like some weight to it, Yeah, like a beer. It's not like a light beer, Yeah, but it's not too hoppy like some IPAs can be.
When they're too hoppy.
Yeah. So that is my pint portion of Pints and Pit Stops. Again,
have you ever met a beer that you don't like?
Yes, there is one beer. I don't remember that. I didn't do it on Pints and Pit Stops. This is when we were doing our beer exchange at work. I had gotten a beer that was like an 18%.
Oh my god!
It tasted like straight liquor, and I took one sip of it, did not enjoy it, and then I waited a little bit, and I was like, okay, let me give it another try. Took another sip of it, did not enjoy it, poured it straight down the drain.
Yeah, that's gross.
So that's that. But yes, good beer. Good work, Industrial Arts Brewing Company based out of New York. Now we will get into the pit stops portion of this.
I don't think you should be worried. It's probably too easy, but there was so much I could have posted. I could have made it like extremely hard, but I didn't. So obviously I will start the timer after I'm done reading the first question. Are you ready?
Yes, I can't see you.
Again,
yes.
Again, for everyone, this is on Abu Dhabi, of course. Okay. By the end of lap 1, what position was Charles in?
8.
What did Liam receive the 10-second penalty for?
Contact.
What place did Lewis finish?
4th.
How fast was Lando's pit stop?
2.
What is the total number of points McLaren ended the season with?
666.
21-28. That's your starting time. Not as fast as the first time.
Not as fast as the first time.
No. And you got one wrong. Okay.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. By the end of lap 1, what position was Charles in? That is correct. It is 8th place.
So happy I started watching the race in 30 because they had talked about Charles making up 11 places, and that's how I remembered it.
You know what I did? The F1 app has the live the replay live timing.
Yeah.
And I I hit it, and all I needed was lap 1, so I just hit it and then watched him climb, and I was like, okay, thank you. I thought I knew it, but I didn't confirm. So you're down to 20. What did Liam receive the 10-second penalty for? It was for an unsafe release. Remember the wheel?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oscar got the 10-second penalty for contact with Liam.
That is correct.
So you're back up to 21. What place did Lewis finish? 4th was correct, back down to 20. How fast is Lando's pit stop? 2 seconds. 19. And then what is the total number of points that McLaren ended the season with? Is the ugly number 666. I don't know if that's
honestly
a good...
the only reason I remembered it is because seeing threads on Twitter.
So you're at 1828.
1828. Sorry,
yes.
I was opening my windows some more.
Don't know if that number is good for next year, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But yes, that was pints and pit stops.
Sorry, I never remember. I need to figure out a better way to enter this information.
Pints and pit stops. Pints and pit stops. We need a theme song.
We do need a theme song. That'd be huge. All right, that takes my average time to a 24-second, and my fastest time and the world record holder is still 14 seconds.
What was Frey's best time?
Frey's best time was 18.
So
I just tied her. Technically, let's see. Oh, I actually just beat her by 0.2 of a second.
Oh my god, she's gonna be pissed when she hears that. But yes, that was Pints and Pit Stops.
Pints and Pit Stops.
Now moving on to Abu Dhabi season finale, the final show, final chapter recap. That is brought to you by our favorite app, BoxBox.
BoxBox. I've been saying it for weeks. If you guys don't have a BoxBox as your main F1 app, it needs to become your main F1 app. This is a beautiful app built by fans for F1 fans, and it's got everything you could ever ask for in terms of F1 knowledge, F1 information, stats about the race, stats about drivers, stats about the season. It's got everything. And all the
even the 2025 schedule's already there.
The 2025 schedule's already there. It's beautiful. And it's updated too because we have Australia leading us off. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful app. Casey and I have been using it even before we started working with them. And it's just I work in tech. It is such a beautifully designed and composed app.
I also love the little icon they have next to the whoever wins.
It's so good. See, it's the small touches like that make it really well done, and it's great because it's you see here McLaren world champions as I just got a Twitter notification too. I gotta turn those things off because I get things from accounts that I don't want. You get this scrolling, beautiful format. You can get news. I have all the news down here that I want. It's so good. Go to our link in our bio. Use the code in our bio. It'll get you 30% off your first year Ultra subscription. That is on iOS only devices. The app is available on Android and iOS devices, but our deal is only on iOS devices. Again, there's a link in our bio, but we also have the code. It is Underground30. No vowels except for the leading U. It is all upper capitalized too. Wow, I really just stuttered there for a second. Again, download the app. It's fantastic. They're so much fun to work with. We love it. It's great. Thank you again, BoxBox. And like I said, all the information you're about to hear from our Abu Dhabi recap is from BoxBox directly. We're pulling it directly from the app. And Casey and I are not smart enough to remember all of this information, so we're pulling this all from BoxBox.
No, and not when you have a race that has so much action 10 laps in.
Right.
I'm not going to remember what happened, especially this past season with what we've witnessed on track. I need these reminders. So yes, wonderful app. But yes, who can we start with? Aston Martin, because Fernando Alonso finished with 2 points, but they both dropped places. They both dropped 1 place from where they qualified, so not a great end to the what's it called? To the season for them. Yeah, not even a good season for them. I mean, they somehow got 5th in the championships, but again, it wasn't the best season for them. But I don't have anything else to add about Aston Martin. That's why I figured they were easy to start with.
I don't have anything either. I mean, like we said, it was a very chaotic race, so they're kind of like suffering from that already because it was so chaotic. But they also didn't do much.
I mean, they both stayed in the race. There was a few DNFs, lots of contact.
Yeah,
DNF,
true.
But they did stay. So Aston Martin was easy
to pick on.
Sauber, I feel like we can go to next. Even though they're both leaving,
it was short-lived.
It was so but Valtteri Bottas like retiring early hurt me.
Yeah.
Because he just wanted him to go to the end. He wanted that one last chance to score points. And what is it? The first time in his career he hasn't scored points in a race.
Yep.
And he just keeps asking what's next. So, what is next, Valtteri Bottas? Let us know, please. I want to know.
Why did he thank Ferrari at the end of the race?
I think he just thanked Ferrari because they use. Oh, sorry. Also, Sauber uses Ferrari engines, so I think that's also why they. I think that's why he thanked him. But like, Valtteri Bottas, reserve driver for Ferrari, they need one.
I can see Lewis going in there. True. I could see Lewis going in there and talking about Valtteri and talking him up and saying that he's his best teammate he's ever had. Like, because Lewis loves Valtteri. And I could see it happening. But yes, I can understand if it's, hey, thank you because, you know, our cars run on Ferrari.
Yeah, but Fred worked with him too. Fred's last year at Sauber, Bottas' first year at Sauber. Alfa Romeo, whatever they were at that time. So like he knows him.
There you go.
Honestly, we didn't get enough of Fred and Bottas because I feel like that's a dynamic duo that we were robbed of.
That's a crazy duo. That is a wild duo.
We missed the mark on that one. But yes, unfortunately, like we said, Valtteri DNF'd. He made contact with Hulk.
Yeah, because he was in that like small grouping. Yeah.
No, it was later on in the race. It was later on in the race. Who
did he make contact with?
A Haas. He made contact with a Haas.
Was it K-Mag? No.
No, it was K-Mag. Because K-Mag finished 16, so it does make sense. But K-Mag, if you look, like Valtteri went 6-30 on his last stint, and K-Mag went 29-30, and then immediately pitted 30-35.
Oh yeah, he definitely made contact with K-Mag then.
Yeah, he definitely did not make contact with Hulkenberg, who finished up higher. But
no.
Sad for Valtteri. Joe stayed in the race the entire time, did not score any points. Did do some donuts at the end, though. On his own in another section of the track.
I'm happy I saw that on, social
video.
media.
Yeah. Same, because I'm happy I saw it, too, because they didn't show it on TV, obviously. But he said he just did it for the fans, but now everyone's calling it Zonuts, and it's perfect.
Oh, so. Beautiful. Beautiful.
But yeah, unfortunate ending to a very unforgettable season for Sauber.
Yeah.
But Bortoleto was in the car today for next year, and so was Hulk. So
yeah.
I will say, this is going off track. The postseason testing for drivers going to new teams, how they have to wear the plain race suits because their contract's not officially up until the end of the year is so funny. But Carlos Sainz, if he does not keep that silver helmet, I know he won't because he's going to put in the team. He's going to put in the Spanish colors. If he doesn't keep that design fully, I would be pissed. That helmet is beautiful.
I saw the clips of him driving the Williams, and I was wondering why it looked so different to me at first. And I was like, oh my God, it's because he has a different helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that looks sick, that helmet. That looks awesome.
I'll just show you the close-up photos. On the visor, it said his name, but in silver. The 55 was in a light gray. It's so beautiful. But I said, I know he's going to work in the Spanish flag colors a little bit, but that helmet.
He might be going for a new era of Carlos Sainz, new colors.
I have to look back at his McLaren helmets. Did he? Because the Spanish flag worked for Ferrari colors, so it made perfect sense. But I can't remember his McLaren helmets ever if they also had. I'm sure they did, but yeah, it was a beautiful helmet. But sidetracked. Aston Martin Sauber. Who do we go to next? V-Carb? It was a great weekend for them.
Yeah, we can jump to V-Carb. Liam, 17th. DNFs on lap 55.
Yeah.
Yuki, 12th.
Not a good weekend for them.
I honestly, I can't think of anything for them.
No, well, you had Oscar and Liam make contact in the beginning.
Right.
And that's what Oscar got the penalty for. And then you
Right.
obviously had Liam come into the pit lane, change the tires, say, don't put the tire fully on. So then it's an unsafe release, and that's what he gets the 10-second penalty for, so he has to come back. So I feel like that kind of ruined his race, because from then on, and then he stopped on track at the very, very end. We were like, is this race ending under a safety car?
Oh, that's right. That was him. Yeah.
It was his car at the end. So, but yeah, nothing to report. Yuki
in a Red Bull.
Today?
Yuki in a Red Bull. Yeah, today.
He makes sense in those colors. He makes sense in that Red Bull dark blue.
Works.
It looks
it works
so
for
nice.
him.
I heard the articles from people that talked to him after, like how it went and stuff for him in the car, but there's really nothing to say. Yuki, unfortunately, V-Carb could have placed higher because they were close to Haas and Alpine, but they stayed in it. They didn't gain. So, but yeah, kind of again unforgettable.
Williams, Allen finishes 11th. He had a good race, actually, up 7 spots from where he qualified.
That was a pretty good race. That was good.
So that's a good race for Alex. Franco finishes 19th technically, but he DNFs on lap 26.
Yeah. That radio message also broke me.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you guys, like all this stuff. I felt so bad for him.
I just can't imagine like knowing that you're not coming back next year, at least like in Franco's position. Like, all right, I don't have a full-time seat for next year.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
and then your race ends in a DNF
prematurely.
Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? Like,
that's why
I wanted one last race to like finish this and enjoy this experience, and I only get 26 laps out of 58.
Yeah.
Like,
at least it wasn't like if it was Liam, if he was in Liam's position, I think I would have felt worse. Like, you literally almost finished and you're out on lap 55 or 57.
Yeah, right.
Like, no. But yeah, Franco unfortunately did not. Overall, I feel like we can talk more about him next week, because we said, 9 races when he came in, and it was the perfect opportunity. He started off so strong.
He started off so good.
And then the crashes kept coming in both like qualifying and then the race, and he just couldn't catch a break. But he himself followed IndyCar, and his managers followed Le Mans. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Franco in IndyCar would be a hilarious. He has the personality.
So weird.
But I don't know. I don't think. No, I feel like there is like a few teams that like change drivers pretty frequently. Like, they're not like set in stone. Like, it's not like Andretti or McLaren. Yeah, they do change every once in a while. So maybe he could get in one of them with a test. But I'm pretty sure that IndyCar is pretty set, like with their driver lineup for the whole season. But yeah, I did feel bad for Franco. Alpine and Haas. I would say Alpine and Haas. Yeah, because they were the battle for P6, an electric battle for P6.
I want to say this too about Alpine. Jack Doohan coming in, 1 race left in the season. It's your first time ever driving a Formula 1 car. I had talked to like Casper about this on Threads a little bit, and I said Jack Doohan just gets a free pass for whatever happens in Abu Dhabi, just because of all that outlier like things. But for him to finish 15th and gain 2 spots from where he started,
escape all the drama.
You lived through all that shit in the beginning, especially starting at the back of the grid.
Yep.
Good on him. You know what? He did his job exactly how like we kind of talked about with like Franco coming in and like making a name for himself a little bit and just like surviving. Jack came in, he survived the race. He didn't crash the car. He flew under the radar, which I'm sure Alpine was like, great, good work. Like,
yeah, no mistakes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we never once saw, like, you know, a quick yellow flag for Jack doing, like, locking up or, like, going off the track a little bit. Like, he did his race, and he just went into it, finished all the laps, and said, cool, see you later, guys. Like,
and for stepping into your first full race weekend in over a year, like
that race weekend being Abu Dhabi with everything that was riding on it, like,
especially for your team who was P6 and could keep P6, that's a lot of pressure for the kid to step in the last minute. But yeah, like you said, he did what he needed to do, and just go out there and get some experience in that car before stepping in full time. Yeah, just drive the car. Yeah. Which, yeah, I was happy for him that he escaped, because it would have been awful if he got caught in that traffic, and you would think he would have got caught in the drama at the beginning and then been out, especially where he started. But yeah, I think he did a good job on Jack doing. Pierre's back might hurt.
Really? Yeah, Wait, before we jump into this, I want to say, I think it was Formula One posted a photo, and they were like, Pierre's been on a burner ever since, like, whatever. But in the photo, it was all of his positions that he finished, and there was one DNF in there, and it just, like, made me laugh a little bit, because I was like, God, like, yeah, he has been on a burner. Like, he's been doing so well, but it's like looking at all these positions, and then it's just like a big DNF. I'm like, damn.
Sucks for you.
Yeah, right. Like, we're not going to hide that from people. We're just going to tell them straight up, you fucking DNF.
DNF.
But yeah, I mean, he finishes 7th. It's 2 spots down from where he qualified. So he, qualified 5th.
But above Nico Hülkenberg, what they needed.
Above Nico Hülkenberg, yep. He gets 6 points for Alpine. Yeah, his back must be really hurting him, and I'm sure he's looking forward to next year with Jack being more experienced.
Yeah.
And just going into that mindset. I don't think Jack's going to come in and be like, I'm a veteran now that I have one race under my belt. I'm not saying that at all about Jack, but the fact that Jack has gotten his first race out of the way, now he'll do a shit ton of simulator time, off-season, preseason testing, stuff like that. Won't be his very first time in a Formula One car.
It'll be nice. And honestly, if Alpine is listening, maybe I'll clip this and post this. Do you see what happens when you make your car pink?
Yes. Listen. If we're going flashback to the end of this, at the beginning of the year, when Alpine teased the pink car and then dropped that all black
carbon fiber.
I want to say piece of crap, because the car was pretty slow too. That hurt. That legitimately hurt. But you come in for the last, what do they have it for the last 4 races of the season? Last 3
races.
And you have a pink car? Oh my God. Look at that. Pierre's on a fucking burner. You have your car that looks great. And when they cut to your car during the broadcast, it's instantly recognizable.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah. Bring the pink in, please.
Embrace the pink. Embrace it. Embrace it. Because we have enough carbon fiber on the grid. Embrace the pink, please.
We have enough.
But I happy for Alpine. They obviously won the P6 battle between them and Haas. We were both wrong. We thought Haas was going to get it. That 3-place grid penalty for Nico Hülkenberg was the nail in the coffin, I swear to God.
Oh, yeah. That almost had a feeling similar to like Charles's 10th-place grid penalty, where it was like you were just kind of like that. There it is. Like, that's it. Like,
I obviously watched qualifying with my friend Eric, who is a Haas fan. So you had me freaking out because Charles gets out Q2, then has to drop 10 places, and then he's so excited about Nico finishing P4 at first.
He was up there.
P4, and then we turn off qualifying, we're doing something else, look at my phone, and I'm like, Nico was summoned to the stewards. And then later on I was like, oh, Nico got a 3-place grid penalty.
It just, it was brutal to see.
I genuinely think Nico probably could have kept P4 for the majority of the race.
And I would believe that. With how fast those Haas's were, too, in Qatar, I think. I think it was a practice session in Qatar that was like they were cooking and everybody was kind of like, what the fuck is going, like, what the hell is happening? But, yeah, I mean, wild that, it's a hell of a season. I agree with what you said earlier. Ayo Komatsu just did a phenomenal job of bringing a resurgence back to that team. I'm excited to see what they can do next year.
Oh, me too.
I think it's going to be
with Esteban and Ollie.
Yeah, when you bring in totally different team principal and you bring in totally different drivers. I think it's going to be good for Haas next year, which would be great to see. Just because of it being awesome to see an American team just killing it, week in and week out and everything, but because Haas has become kind of this like down on their luck team with like the DTS episodes and everything, I would love to see them kill it, And
I feel like they're going to. They're in the right direction with development wise. Like we said, Ayo is the perfect person in charge. And as much as everyone was upset when Gunther got canned, it was the correct move. Yeah. You needed a change. You needed a fresh perspective to take that team forward. Esteban did drive the car today, and I have not seen that man with that big of a smile on his face in weeks.
He looked really happy in the pictures. He looked very happy. Yeah.
And rumor has it, I think he might have a girl race engineer, and she might be the first race engineer. So, like,
really?
Yeah. But it's not officially confirmed, but she was working with him today. But also Haas. So obviously K-Mag got the fastest lap at the end. It didn't count it didn't matter because he was outside the points. But not only did he get the fastest lap, he's also the lap record now for Abu Dhabi.
Is he really?
Yeah, I just double checked. I saw it earlier. I just double checked on F1's website. It now says the lap record is set by Kevin Magnussen in 2024. So next year, if we do track facts, you get to say the lap record was set by the one and only Kevin Magnussen.
That is awesome.
Does
it really?
Scored.
Oh my God, it does. Kevin Magnussen 2024. Oh, I can't wait for that.
And how everyone was like, K-Mag, you have no penalty points. You have no seat next year. Just go out with a bang.
Just fucking fly.
Instead of going out with a bang, taking everyone out, he sets the fastest lap and says, you know what? I'm leaving my mark on this sport. And says, here's the fastest lap ever in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, K-Mag. Yes, oh, my God. If that is not a look of things to come for Haas, that makes me so happy.
And, we might have to go back a little bit because I wanted to read Bottas's quote from after post-race. But, obviously there was all different radios at the end of the race if they got DNF'd early, like we said, Bottas and Franco.
Yeah.
But at the end, obviously you had Lewis from Toto and Bono. But you had K-Mag's wife come over the radio.
Beautiful.
And is it Danish? Is that in Denmark? I don't know if I'm saying this right.
Yes, that feels right.
It does feel right. Come over the radio and say the cutest radio message ever. Basically, it was just like welcome, come home now to me and the girls and all that stuff. It was the cutest. I saw people talking about it and I was like, what are they talking about? Like, what do they mean? And then I saw the video someone posted on TikTok and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I get it.
Oh, all right.
I was like, okay. But yeah, it was adorable. Yeah, I was right. Danish. Okay. I was gonna double check before I offended anyone. So, going backwards a little bit back to Sauber. So this was post-race media pen. It might have been a little bit earlier, but this was a quote from Valtteri Bottas on his time at Sauber, and it's pretty damning. It says, if I could go back. Tough. If I could go back 3 years, I would have gone somewhere else. Unfortunately, that's how it is. This was a big mistake.
Damn, what a brutal. I mean, listen, he is, for what we know right now, acting off of the information that we know now, this was the last race where we're going to see Valtteri Bottas in an F1 car. So that quote feels like that's kind of true. I know we were just saying like, oh, Ferrari, but like,
yeah, like joking around though. But
right. But for him to say that, I think is a bold move. And that to me feels like my time is done.
Yep.
I am not beholden to anybody else. And therefore I'm going to say whatever the hell I want. And that's a big quote. That is a big, big quote.
Well, and it just makes you think like what we know Bottas can do on track in a good car. What we saw Zhou Guanyu last week in Qatar do, and then what we also saw him do in 2022, how consistent he was. If they had a good car, it'd be a totally different story.
It'd be totally different story.
It'd be we would not. It'd just be a totally different story. But someone did post when they announced that those two were leaving. Sauber, AlphaTauri, whatever you want to call them, because their name always has been changing so much. Do a full kick everyone out every few years, because before it was Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Räikkönen, and then they were both let go the same season. So this is normal for that.
It's a repeat
regime. Yeah.
It's a repeat offense.
Yeah, it's a repeat offense. But yeah, so it is unfortunate. I could also see, I know we talk about Valtteri being a reserve driver for Ferrari as a joke, but I'm not counting out Joe.
Fair. That's a good point.
Because he hold on. Yes, he was a member of the Ferrari Driver Academy. So I'm not counting that out at all. I knew it was in my head, but I didn't want to say Ferrari Driver Academy, or I didn't want to say Prima. But I could picture the video of him and Charles doing the whip and nene dance, and that's all I could picture.
What the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen that video. You need to send that to me.
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen Charles and Joe interact, first of all.
Oh, yeah. No, they have spent a lot of time together because of the Driver Academy. But I'll send you that video when we're done. But yeah, I don't count Joe out of Ferrari Driver Academy. That's what, Ferrari Reserve Driver. That's what I wanted to say. Because obviously you lose Ollie to Haas and Robert Schwartzman to IndyCar. So Ferrari need 2 reserve drivers.
Yeah.
So, and also has experience with Joe. For plenty of
there
years.
You go.
So,
you're right.
But yeah, so those 2 would maybe make sense. And also have experience with that power unit. So it might be the perfect fit.
There you go.
Ferrari reserve drivers.
Bring it back, and then the Ferrari social media team needs to recreate that video of them
doing the dance.
Of them doing the nay. Yeah.
Well, did you see Carlos in the chili costume?
I did see Carlos in the chili costume. Yes.
Did you see who gave him the chili costume?
Was it Fred?
No. So it's kind of a spoiler for the Secret Santa. Joe had. Okay, now we know. Lando had Joe. Joe had Carlos. Lando gave Joe a pillow of his cat.
That's right. Yes, yeah.
Joe posted a picture, and then it came out saying that Joe gave Carlos a chili costume, and they started his driver's parade quote. You knew you were missing context from what he was saying, because he was like, "No, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll put it on later." So people were I was like, "What is he talking about?"
Right.
They posted that clip after he opened it, saying, "I'll make a bet with Joe. If he scores a point within the last 3 rounds, I will wear this after the last race." And then obviously Joe goes and scores points in Qatar. Yep. So Joe went over to the Ferrari farewell party to Carlos, made him put it on. So yeah, look kind of like Charles's banana costume, but a chili costume. That's
good.
What he got him.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm starting the campaign now. Bring Joe and Valtteri Bottas as Ferrari reserve drivers.
Bring them back.
Bring them back. Moving on, we finished with the
Red Bull.
Yeah, because they weren't I mean,
the only thing to know.
That's what I thought your meme was going to be. The Mick Schumacher done for the day with Checo Perez.
Oh, that should have been it. That's good.
Could you show me it during
Yeah, so Checo, god damn it, now I'm upset that I didn't pick that.
Lap 1, turn 10 was out.
Lap 1, he spins.
With Oscar.
He makes contact with somebody.
Oscar.
No, Max makes contact with Oscar.
Oh, yeah, Max makes contact with Oscar.
Max makes contact with Oscar. They spin out. Max does a pretty 360 pirouette and then gets right back on the road. Checo makes contact with somebody a couple turns later, spins, starts driving again, but then is out. Parks the car. And it was just, I mean, like everybody was talking about this. Alex Jakes, James Hinchcliffe, all of them were like, "Oh boy, like if that's the end of Checo's career, like that's a pretty good summation of the season for him."
No, it might be perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing really to kind of note there. Like I said, Checo's out, lap 1, DNF, done. Max finishes 6th.
After making contact with Oscar.
He does finish the race, but
I pulled up the recap, like the video, just see who Checo makes contact with.
Yeah, I forget. I'm blanking on who it is, but he was out pretty quickly. Which, like, at the moment, like, of course, everybody is just like, "Oh shit!" Like, it's Checo.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. So decent race from them. Obviously, Red Bull had been eliminated from Constructors Championship contention. I believe that was before Qatar. They had said that they were done. And then obviously Max is driver champ, so he's done. He's good to go.
Oh wait, you can't even
there's
tell.
The news of, Max is now becoming a father.
Yes, we forgot about that.
Max is now becoming a father to a hybrid child of F1
Piquet and Verstappen.
Genes. God, like it's kind of disgusting the genes that kid is going to have. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy from them. This is where it gets tricky for me because who do we want to go to?
Wait, but did you see?
Or do you have more for Red Bull?
No, I just wanted to mention because people keep posting about how many points are between Checo and
it's large.
Max. Max finished with 437 points. Checo with 152. That's from your number 2 driver. That's not what you need.
That's disgusting. My favorite post was if Max outscores Checo by this much in Abu Dhabi, they take the record for biggest points gap between teammates since 2023. That was also set by Max and Checo. And I was like cracking up because I was like, oh, it's literally just a repeat of last season.
Okay, but did you see the stat yet? I know we'll get to McLaren last, but did you see? We go to Mercedes next. We do Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren. We just go up the ladder. That's what we'll do.
Right.
But did you see the stat? Whoever gets second place to Max in the championship next year has 0 wins. 2021, Lewis, next year, no wins. 2022, Charles, next year, no wins. 2023, Checo, next year, no wins. So you have Lando and then also the team ending with 666 points. If that's
I don't like the sound of that.
No, but records can be broken or storylines can be broken. But yeah, Mercedes. Go to Mercedes next.
What to say, man? I mean,
I do have one thing to say.
The beautiful race from Lewis. First of all, I'm gonna say nothing about George in this, just because obviously all focus is on Lewis. Watching him get out and stand next to the car was kind of emotional to watch. Yeah. I know that we did not really live through the era of Lewis and Mercedes like dominance and everything, but he obviously, we know what he means to that organization.
You have to live under a rock to not know like who he is or what he's done.
But yeah, watching him like pray outside of the cars was huge and everything, and just seeing the tears in his eyes, it's like, damn, like you just know what it meant to him. And I think there's something so symbolic about that last lap overtake of George.
On George.
Yeah, even if George let him by a little bit.
It was still a beautiful overtake.
It was still a beautiful overtake on a turn around the outside. So it's like just a beautiful overtake, and it's like the fact that it happened on the last lap, that's the last overtake he's going to make in a Mercedes car. Like, it's just, it was beautiful.
Well, and obviously qualifying, he had bad luck because they sent him out too late, and you had Toto come out after and apologize, saying it was their mistake. And then, unfortunately, Lewis runs over that damn pylon. It gets stunk under his car, and he just can't move. So, he starts at the back, but makes up insane points, like him and Charles. But I do like how he said post-race in the media pen, Charles was next to him. And he was like, I mean, it didn't have as great of a start as my new teammate over here. And I was like, yes, it's upon us. It's happening.
It's happening now.
One thing I do want to say, it's kind of confirming a lot of things. People, did you hear Toto and George's post-race radios?
No.
So Toto comes over to George and he's like, "Thank you, George, for like whatever, for a great season, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for like being okay with what we agreed on regarding parts and setups." Meaning, they must have given everything George's car has had for the past few weeks, which is why he's been racing so well and given it to Lewis for the last race of the season to give him a shot. So that's what people are saying. That's what people are bringing up, like claiming when like people saying like Ferrari's being bad to Carlos. Like, no, because Carlos still had all the upgrades. Now we have full proof that Lewis was with nothing and still drove that well in Vegas.
Yeah,
that just shows you Lewis is Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis is God, he's so good.
There was a quote from Lando and did get taken out of context. ESPN posted it and it's caused some. I haven't seen full blown like hate against Lando with this, but he was basically kind of making it seem like he was hating on Lewis coming up at the end and doing the donuts by himself and getting that special part. But he was basically saying he's not. The full quote is like he's not retiring from the sport. He's just leaving and going to another team. And he's like, and I know he's going to do excellent at Ferrari. Yeah, but that's what people are like. I feel like it was too much because he's not retiring. I don't think it was too much.
I think it was. I don't think it was too much at all. I think it was. Listen, when you have one singular person come into this sport and dominate for 7 years like that, and win that way for 7 years. Yeah, him leaving that team is gonna be like he's retiring. But
you're closing the chapter to one of the greatest runs in the sport.
Yeah, it's that run is gonna be looked back on for decades, forever. As long as the sport runs forward, it's gonna be looked back on as the Lewis dominant era. You know,
that's exactly, and like that's what people, and that's why I posted. I was talking to someone on Threads, and I said, "This is like Tom Brady leaving the Patriots or LeBron leaving like Miami or Cleveland. Like it's huge. It's not just like
it's a massive moment.
It's an insane moment. He made that team what it was. Like he helped. Toto was saying when he came in, he was very unexperienced. Lewis already had one championship under his belt. Like that. When you think of Mercedes, you were always going to think of Lewis Hamilton. I'm sorry,
absolutely.
You are all.
He's going to be He's going to be the first face that you think of for Mercedes. It's going to be like Lewis Hamilton.
When people think of Ferrari, they think of Michael Schumacher. Like you are always going to think of when you say McLaren, you think of Ayrton Senna. You are always going to think of Lewis Hamilton. So I don't think it was too much, and I don't think the drivers appreciated it because it's no secret. Like half of the drivers on that grid grew up watching Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
What the man has done for the sport in general is insane. Yeah. So, I wanted to touch on that. But Mercedes ends up, obviously, 4th and 5th, which is pretty good considering, obviously, where Lewis started.
Yeah.
And they finished 3rd in the Constructors. Or no, they finished 4th in the Constructors. Sorry. Red Bull finished 3rd. Moving on to the top 2. Obviously, you know who we're finishing with, so I will take it away. Ferrari. I have to say, I mentioned this at the beginning. I know we said last week one of us is going to be like freaking out and the other was going to be upset. I'm not as upset as I thought I was going to be.
Right.
We needed a miracle. We needed a long shot. After finding out Charles Leclerc was going to get a 10-place grid penalty, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I was a little stressed. And then I was like, he needs great qualifying. He had a great lap and then had freaking track limits at turn 1. He even knew the minute they said that lap time was deleted, he said for turn 1, wasn't it?
Turn 1, yep.
Mm-hmm. So he starts P19 because Franco Colapinto also had 5-place grid penalty, so he started P20. And then Carlos had a great qualifying, finished his P3. But because of Max and Oscar creating contact, Carlos was able to get up to second. He was close to Lando for a little bit, but Lando had clean air, and we know how that car acts in clean air, and he just took off. But then Charles, people are like, it was all luck. It was all thanks to Max. He's the reason why. I mean, Charles could have got stuck in that traffic as well and been crashed out and DNF'd lap 1. He could have gotten caught. when you watch his start, he so strategically gets out of the way of cars that are spinning off or going off, getting hit. And it is some masterful, like, might be one of my favorite races of his because of how quickly he was also able to get up.
Oh, he
to the
instantly.
Instantly. I mean, we said it for pints and pit stops. By the end of lap 1, he was P8. That's insane. He was in the points.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. And then he's just makes you question, like, if he has a good car for a full season, a car that works, the grid's in trouble.
Yeah. I was really thinking about this today, and if you're done with Ferrari, like,
I have a little bit more I want to say about, like, him and Carlos and Charles as teams since Carlos is moving on, but you can go.
So I was thinking about this a lot today, and you have to respect the drive that Carlos or Charles put together. I mean, it was a hell of a drive to go from P19 to finish on the podium. That is absurd. Absurd. The fact that we got 2 drives like this year where we see Max go from P17 to winning the race, and then we have Charles going from P19 to P3 is nuts. The fact that we got this as spectators of the sport. You have to respect how he drove the car today. You have to respect Carlos for the hell of a fight that he put up and trying to allow the win or get the win for Ferrari and everything in his last race. I mean, you could tell when he finished that race, you could tell that he was pissed because this was my last race for this team and I wanted to do more for them. It was, yes, I got second. Yes, we, kind of got around the front row lockout for McLaren and everything. But the fact that it was a Ferrari 2-3 finish, given where they started, given the situation they were in, is massive. I think it should be a race that Ferrari should look back on and be like, that was a good race for us.
Yeah, I mean, so many people were like doom and gloom. People were like, it's over. Congrats, McLaren. Congrats, McLaren, like all this stuff. And I felt it a little bit, but I was like, I trust Charles. I trust Charles because we said it before and we'll say it again. There's something about Abu Dhabi and when Charles gets on that track, it's like a different beast. When he asked and he said, like, what was the gap to Carlos or something, or he was like, if we're like this, we lose, right? And they were like, yes. I was waiting for the speech because he was working that in his mind.
He was doing it,
in his mind. And that's what some people were saying. They felt like they should have pit Carlos near the end because he was losing time. His tires were a little bit older, I think.
Right.
Pit him, he would have still come out P2 and had fresher tires. You could put him on the softs and he probably could have caught up to Lando quick.
Yeah.
But there's always obviously a bunch of scenarios. If there was a safety car, I do think maybe Carlos could have maybe caught Lando and it would have been a whole different story. So
we're always going to sit there and give the hypotheticals and everything. And what could have happened if there was a safety car, if they pitted Carlos first, what could have happened. But
it was the best. Obviously, they didn't come away with what they wanted championship-wise or Charles P2 in the championship. But for like you said, for how awful the weekend started, specifically for Charles, who also had food poisoning from the driver's dinner.
Yeah.
Like, the best possible outcome they could have finished with. I do think if Charles didn't have 10th place grid penalty and all that, it would have been a different story. I think we would have had a McLaren, Ferrari, or like vice versa for the starting grid. But
right,
that was Ferrari. That's all I have to say.
I do want to say this about Ferrari. I'm making this declaration now.
Oh, I'm ready for it because I know I'm going to agree.
I'm going to stick with this until the end of next year. I think Ferrari is going to win the Constructors Championship next year.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if they carry the momentum that they have this year, Charles carries this motivation, and then bringing in Lewis, which is just, we've talked about that enough. We know what that brings to the team. I think they're going to do it next year.
Yep. I think the two of them together on the same team, if there's a car underneath of them that's good, that's scary for the rest of the grid, I think. That's scary for McLaren. That's scary for Red Bull. That's scary for Mercedes.
Yeah.
That being said, I do want to say everyone knows he's not my favorite driver on the grid, Carlos. I will be I will be dead serious, but he's had some great drives for this team. He's done great work for this team. He is the strategy he has when he's in that car is unreal. He will make a great team principal when he gets older. He will make a great strategist when he gets older, or once he's done, because there's just the way he can think about things. It's like I have him on in front of me, but like how hockey players, they have like the hockey IQ. Carlos has the driver IQ that Carlos has. What he's able to think on fly is what makes him a great driver, and that's what people are like already like. It's doomsday with him going to Williams with everything. Yes, is it maybe going to start slow? I think so.
But I think it's going to take a little bit to build.
Yeah, but I do think we could see Carlos back on the podium in Williams. I'm dead serious. I do think it could happen. But yeah, that's what I want to end with for Ferrari. Go ahead, take it away. Gloat all you want. I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, yes! Oh my God. I can't believe that. Listen, I'll say this too. This kind of stands for you too. We are so lucky as newer F1 fans that 2 years, 3 years into watching this sport, that both of our teams are fighting for Constructors Championships. And it's great to see. It's awesome to see.
After where we've seen our teams come from, because it's been great for those two teams.
Right. So it's like seeing it happen is immense. I don't think it's fully set into me yet, like what is happening. Like the fact that McLaren is team champion and whatnot. It's just, oh God, I am beyond thrilled. When Oscar got taken out by Max at the beginning, I was so pissed because I was like, that's it right there. He's behind Charles. We know what Charles can do. That's it. Done. Boom, 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 no matter what, right? Then, thankfully, F1 TV started throwing up the graphics on the screen of, if they finish now, this is what the Constructors Championship ends. And it's like, all right, we have a little bit more breathing room than I thought we did.
And shout out to them for bringing that up like every lap. I appreciate that work.
I'm so happy that they did, just because it was such a tight battle. But I, watching that happen was amazing to see. And watching Lando win that race, and not only win that race, but win that race from pole and lead that entire race and everything is something else, because it really, really just puts in perspective like the season that we've had, and the fact that we went to Miami and watched Lando win his first ever Formula One race that happened this season. And now we just watched him cross the finish line at Abu Dhabi, win his fourth race of the season, and
win the Constructors
Championship for his team. It's absurd. I mean, there's no words that I can think to describe it. Obviously, flawless race from Lando.
Yeah.
Pit crew pulling off a 2-second stop.
Thank you for saying it.
Come the fuck on. Come on. Give everybody else a chance. Like, the fact that all the pieces aligned for that victory to happen was beautiful, was fantastic. And I couldn't be more happier as a McLaren fan. I couldn't be happier as a Lando fan. It is so cool to see your team win the Constructors Championship. And I'm gonna go back on what with what I just said. I hope to God it happens next year for Ferrari, for you, so you can gloat. It is so much fun.
It's going to be a close battle, though. I think
it's going to be a close battle. It's wild to see.
The entire season, I could see it flip flopping back and forth.
I'm really hoping. I remember making this call when Lando won his first race, and I said, I'm really hoping that it just opens the floodgates now for Lando. And I think it did, because after that, you see him getting poles in qualifying. You see him finishing on podiums. You see, winning more races, winning the Constructors, all this stuff. So I'm really hoping they can carry this momentum over into next season. But yeah, I am just, the fact that it happened, I am thrilled. I am so happy. Again, I wasn't alive when McLaren won their last World Constructors Championship.
It's been Owen's entire lifetime.
Literally my entire lifetime before they've won another one. And it's just, it's crazy to see. And it's nice to see too, because it's when it's 20 years down the line and we're still watching the sport and everything. And regardless of what happens, this is going to be the first team championship that I saw for a team that sans Philly sports, this is going to be the first championship team win that I saw for a team that I love, so it's crazy. It's important. It's huge. It's fantastic to see. I love it. I'm so happy. I have my phone wallpaper is, 20. You can't really see it.
You change it so quick.
Camera's not going to focus on it, but I also have just, see if I can get to it real fast. Oh, it's not there we go. Like, it's the photo of Lando driving across I mean, it is fantastic. I'm so happy.
No, and I said Ferrari needed a perfect weekend coming into Abu Dhabi, but McLaren also did as well. And I think except for Oscar making contact with Max, they had a flawless weekend.
Yeah.
McLaren, they had a flawless weekend. That was the most important pit stop of all that pit crew's entire life, and it was flawless.
The whole pit crew was just fucking locked in for that.
I wish we could get like an overhead shot slow-mo to watch that one, because they're probably so all in sync together.
Oh, it's probably gorgeous.
Yeah, it's probably so nice to watch. Now, you think, just also because they're on, do you think this orange and black team can send some good mojo to another orange and black team?
I would love it. I would love it. I would be so happy if that could happen. But the fact that I got to see one orange and black team win this year, I am thrilled.
And then I saw you post. So next year? Are you continuing to not wear McLaren merch?
Oh, I am doubling down on the no merch on race days. I made that realization after the race, after you guys had left too, that I was like, oh my God, like I can't wear it now. Like that. And like, this is now like a rule that it's like gonna last a lifetime. You know, like it's not gonna be like, oh my God, they're having like a tough spell. Like, let me switch it up. Like, no, the year that I didn't wear any merch, they won Constructors Championship. That is it. So I can drink out of a coffee mug. I did test that logic, but
yeah, you did.
No merch. I don't know what else to say, but yeah.
No, that was obviously where we were ending with the top two, because it made sense for us personally. Everyone knows our faves, but it also, I mean,
it worked out.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi Abu Dhabi was crazy. It was the perfect finish. It was the perfect ending to the season. But yeah, it was a great race. But that was our final race recap of the season, of the year. Sad, yeah, very sad. But we are going into our new favorite segment. It's not even new anymore, but our favorite segment now.
It is our favorite segment.
F1Threads Mailbag, which is brought to you by Furious Motorsport. We're not wearing them today. I wore mine for the past 2 weeks. If you saw our TikTok, we did a little.
Yeah.
We are fans of different teams. That's okay.
And that's okay.
Rocking our hockey jerseys, which we absolutely love. I was debating if we go to Miami again this year, I think I could wear that jersey in Miami because it's so thin.
It's so light, yeah.
It's so light. I don't think I would be like sweating uncontrollably. But as always, our coupon code is underground10, or if you go to the link in our bio, it takes you right to the shop. And it applies the code automatically. But you can get the hockey jerseys that we love. You've seen us wear our baseball jerseys we have before, but they have basketball jerseys, crop top baseball jerseys for girls, swim trunks. So many things. They also have some amazing, sick new tote bags that they're going to be doing now with different F1 artists. So that is also really cool to see. But
yeah, they look great too.
Yeah, this is F1Threads Mailbag is brought to you by Furious Motorsports. So we have some good questions. Okay, first off, this is from Chris. What was your favorite moment of Abu Dhabi?
I mean, I can give the easy answer, but
easy answer.
Definitely McLaren winning. second favorite moment from that the George overtake from Lewis. That's a great moment. Like I said, such a symbolic moment. Yeah, definitely McLaren winning, Lewis coming in second there.
Okay, I'll just say because my obvious is Charles' performance overall, going from P19 to P3.
Right.
I have a lot of favorite moments. But they're all like kind of post race as well. I think I have to stick with it. The radio message from K-Mag's wife. I love it. It was
that's
so
a good
wholesome.
One.
That's definitely my favorite. That is my favorite moment of Abu Dhabi.
I like it.
Next question is from Hells. What was your best moment of the season? And Hells continues, although I think I know yours and Owen's answers. And I said, wait, I'll make us pick different ones. So
I just thought of a good one. So
I still have one. So
go ahead.
Okay, so I think besides the obvious, which she's saying Miami and probably Monaco win for us. I think my best moment or my favorite moment of the season is Lewis and Silverstone. Lewis winning Silverstone was just special, and again to win Silverstone, leaving Mercedes, that was the perfect maybe cherry on top of this entire season. So Lewis winning Silverstone is my favorite. Go ahead.
If I have to pick a second favorite moment, or not honestly, I won't even say second favorite moment because obviously we have our favorite ones. So this one definitely is my favorite moment. You'll like this. I think it's got to be Charles winning Monaco.
Oh,
I like when you think about that and you think about what that means to him, it just hits so much more. And it's like me like any sort of athlete, whatever you do can feel that and can recognize and reflect with what that meant to him. And like, I can picture myself like winning something that I've dreamt about my entire childhood and winning and making that a reality. You know, anybody would want that.
It's like if you're, I think there's it's like someone that's born and raised in Philadelphia coming back and playing on the Eagles or the Flyers and then going away in the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup. Like, you dreamed of this as a kid because you're from this city. You know what it means for the city. So just like that overall feeling is just like
making that a reality is it's like, I want to say like unattainable feeling, but like it obviously is obtainable, but it's like
not something that happens to like every single person. Like, especially someone from Monaco, it's just a small population, but
So I definitely thinking back and like what that win meant to him, what that win meant to Ferrari, like just
to
all
Monaco,
of it. To Monaco,
his family, Oh my God, I could have also said my favorite moment from Abu Dhabi was Charles and Arthur sharing the track in FP1, even though it was cut short.
You could have said that.
We didn't even talk about that, but yeah, that was definitely special. I liked Arthur saying, or Charles said at one point, he's like, I had to put my helmet on a little earlier because he was like getting
steering up.
Yeah, he was steering up. But yes, and then last question is from Jesse. We literally like this question. How was it watching the race together but rooting for different teams?
I really enjoyed it. I said it to you afterwards. I was like, we should watch more races together next year. You know, like we said, like the big races, you know, like season opener, Monaco, Miami, you know, Miami we're hoping to go to again.
Yeah.
But, you know, like all these big races we should watch again together. It was a blast, honestly. I had a great time.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And also having like Ange and Mom there. I know Dad was watching from home because he had to go to work and stuff, but even like if him being there it was cool because and obviously we are brother and sister, so we grew up cheering for the same sports team, so we've never been against each other,
been
rooting
enemies in a sense.
So it definitely was fun because like we could be funny, like sibling rivalry and stuff. My mom texted Owen after the one episode being like, talk nice to your sister. It was really cool. And yeah, like we said, we're hoping next year to watch some more races together, and maybe also record some podcasts together in person. So that'll be, but yeah, that was some good questions for F1Threads Mailbag this week. I will say, before we end, I'm going to post the voicemail link for next week because like we said, we're going to do 2024 race recap in general, or season recap, listen back to our predictions episode with Mark that we had at the beginning of the year to see how wrong we are. And I know we're going to be so wrong. But yeah, so do that, and then just people can send in voicemails about how they felt with the season. So that'll be on the docket for next week. So
on the docket.
But then the following week is Christmas, and I don't think we're recording. So that'll be a good.
I believe we'll have next week's episode, and then we'll take a small break
for Christmas.
Just for Christmas.
Then we'll be back New Year's with maybe something fun to announce, but
maybe
we'll get there when we get there. Maybe. But yes, do you have anything else you would like to add?
I do not. Go McLaren.
Wait, I do. Okay, I posted this. I posted on Threads just as because everyone was posting their thank yous with an insane season.
Yes.
I posted something short, but I wanted to talk about it more in here. We just can't thank F1Threads enough. We obviously have followers on other social medias, but F1Threads has truly made this show what it's become, and are following what it's become. The people that tune in weekly or support us weekly with literally any post that we put on social media. But I put on Threads, I said they've literally been cheering us and supporting us through personal things as well, like your wedding at the beginning of the year, you running the marathon.
Yeah.
It is truly the best place on the internet. I'm saying that. I think I can confidently say that. So yeah, we just can't thank you guys enough. Can't thank F1Threads and our listeners enough for supporting us through everything from living through us when we went to Miami for the first time and that whirlwind of a weekend, to hosting our first watch party, to hosting our first live broadcast. So it's been an insane season. So many firsts for us in our second season with this podcast as well. So
doing this, yeah.
I just wanted to close with that. Do you have anything to add to there?
I do not. I just want to, attach my thank yous to that. Like I said, the show would not be what it is without F1Threads. And like I said, I made a small post, and I know I said that, I gave you guys a lot of crap beginning of the year before I was a member of this amazing community, but it is honestly the best place on the internet. It's so full of, I love when people can, even if they're disagreeing, they can be respectful and still love each other and talk about things. And that's what F1Threads community is. So I appreciate that. I love all you guys. We love all you guys. We can't say thank you enough.
Yep. And here's to a crazy 2025, because I think it's going to be crazy.
I think it's going to be wild.
I think it's going to top 2024, and I think that's impossible to say, but I think it might. But
it's going to be so good.
Yes. So with that was episode 89. Next week, like I said, next week we'll be back for a season recap. We want to hear from you, so send in your voicemails. Please give us a follow over on Instagram at Threads at Underground F1 and over on Twitter at Underground_F1. Owen's Threads is Underground F1_Owen.
Yep.
Like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. We did get the Spotify wrap, and that was cool to see those numbers for the podcast, specifically on Spotify. But yeah, thank you so much. Happy end of the season, and we will be back next week.
We will be back next week. See you later, people.